Today I took the X650 out to Maiden it. Things went pretty well. Some problems, overall good. I burned through 4 of 6 batteries. On the first battery, when it got near the end and went into auto land mode, I hit return to launch, which interrupted the auto land. And by the time I could stick it back in or remove the return to launch, the copter basically fell from about 15 feet in the air to the ground. I was utterly shocked and amazed. That landing gear is so springy. It stretched out. The copter flipped up in the air about 3 feet and landed on its top. The only damage I saw right off that was done is the telemetry antenna did break off. But I wasn't going for much distance today, so the telemetry radio still worked without an antenna because it was so close. As I was inspecting it, I noticed somebody had left a plastic rod on the ground. So I was completing my inspection, and then I noticed, wait a minute, that's not a plastic rod. That's actually part of my landing gear. One of the rods at the bottom came off. So a 15-foot drop yielded one rod unsnapped and an antenna broke off the telemetry radio. Those aren't soldered on very good. At $100 for a pair of those telemetry sets, which I've got 2 spares. I've got like 4 or 5 of them. Anyway, the antennas are just not well soldered on. I'm going to have to open them all up and hit that solder again. I probably will find another place to put that so that it doesn't have that problem in the future. Or I might just orient the antenna right and left instead of up and down. I'll figure out something to keep that from happening again. So I went through 3 more batteries, doing various things, running it down to the other end of the soccer field and then hitting return to launch and testing that. It all worked great. Then I got a little froggy and started running it around in just stabilized only mode, and I got near some trees one time, but return to launch got me out of that one. So then I put in the 5th battery at the truck, and I decided I was going to do an autonomous flight. I was going to make it take off, go up to 15 feet, loiter, land. Just something simple. Exactly as simple as when I crashed into the car lot and damaged the car for $250. This time it took off, went to 15 feet as it was supposed to. But instead of loitering for 3 minutes, it kind of headed for a little bitty tree next to the parking lot. I did hit return to launch, but it just wasn't, there wasn't enough time. It hung up in the tree where I could reach it on my tiptoes to take it down, and that's when I found the chip propellers. So I burned through 4 of 6 batteries and just a little bit on the 5th one and didn't touch the 6th one at all. I'm getting about 6 minutes per flight, whether it's a 2200 milliamp hour or a 2800 milliamp hour, because the extra weight doesn't seem to make any difference. The extra milliamp hours, because of the weight, doesn't seem to make much difference. I have the fail-safe voltage on the battery set to 10 volts because you can't go below 3.2 volts per cell on a 3-cell battery. You can't go below 9.6 volts on that battery or it could explode, damage the battery. I've been cutting it off at 10. When I come back here and charge them, they're not getting anywhere near that. So I'm going to drop that fail-safe voltage down to 9.6 and see if that doesn't extend me out another minute or 2. Hopefully I'll get to the 10-minute mark, which is common for quads. Hardly any of them go longer than 10 minutes. So I'm going to let you sit back and look at some of the video here. Great day for me. I absolutely loved it. Had about an hour's worth of fun. Thank you all for listening.
Connected. Mode stabilized.
So after it got hung up in the tree, there was damage to the 4 props, or 3 out of 4. Doesn't matter. They're less than $1 a piece to replace. And also on the first crash, I broke the antenna off the telemetry unit. Those things just don't seem to be soldered on that board very well. It's easy to solder it back on. So overall on the day, I'm going to give it a 95. An A. Not an A plus, darn it. Not an A minus, but an A. Enjoy.